If you'd like to follow the process of turning a block of wood like this into a guitar like this, then you've come to the right place. And if you would like to see me give this guitar away, click subscribe, hit the bell. Recently came to a conclusion that I wanted to do something kind of unique. Begin to give away custom guitars.
Wait a minute. What is this? What?
Oh, Dad, it's so pretty.
Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back to Let's Build a Guitar and maybe give them away, huh? Well, today I want to sit down and do something a little bit different. I want to talk a little bit about a history of a guitar, and I want to talk to you about building a guitar and one of my next projects that we're going to be working on here together. Some of you who have known me for a while have been asking, when am I going to get to talking about this iconic guitar style that I've got here? So this guitar is one that I built for me. This one is the 12th guitar of this design that I've built. I started off building them after Prince passed away, and I wanted to build one for myself, but I knew that if I was going to be able to afford to do it, because it's costly to, just the parts are kind of expensive to build a guitar like this. I thought, if I build 3 of them, and if I sell 2 and I keep 1, then I could probably justify it. Now here was the thing, is that at the time that this took place, because this was right after he passed away, there wasn't anybody that held a design patent on it at that point. So I could go ahead and do so. So I built the 2 guitars, and I took them up and met with Dave Roussan. Who's Dave Roussan? Some of you know who Dave Roussan is, but see, it was back in the early 80s that Prince walked into New Capet guitar store in Minneapolis, and he brought in a sardonyx bass guitar. Prince was going to be doing a new movie around Minneapolis called Purple Rain, and he wanted a guitar that would look like this as a movie prop for this movie. So Dave Roussan was working there at New Capet, and they asked him if he would build this guitar, and he said sure, he would build it. Now at that time, Prince wasn't the megastar that he became very shortly after that. But Dave agreed to build the guitar. He didn't really expect that it was going to be a guitar that was going to go on to be used on stage and all, but he built it, and then that original one got destroyed. I think it was dropped, if I'm remembering right. I think it got broken at a concert in Tokyo. And so that one was destroyed. But Dave Roussan built 3 more guitars commissioned by Prince of this style. Then Prince also commissioned Andy Beach to build some guitars like this. Now the guitars at that time were called a cloud guitar. It's a long story, but right now Dave Roussan is getting a design patent on this guitar style that he really is the one who designed it after the sardonyx bass. So it's similar to the sardonyx bass, but there's plenty of differences in there for this guitar style that he can be credited with. So he's applying for that design patent on there. So therefore, just so you know, I'm not selling any of these anymore. I did sell some. I've given some away, I've sold some, This one is mine. But the story goes on. There is a future in which I get to build a guitar very similar to this, but a little bit different. And I've got Dave Roussan's blessing on that. So I met with Dave Roussan with the very first two guitars that I had built that were like this. And he's such a humble guy, and he's really gentle, very nice, and so skilled. And I'm just going to tell you, I was nervous, all right? You know, I'm meeting a guy that's kind of one of my heroes when it comes to guitar building because, man, it was a guitar that I saw in a movie, you know, as a teenager, and I was just like, wow, look at that guitar. It's so beautiful. I'd never seen anything like it. And so here I am in his shop and showing him the guitars that I built, and he gave me some really good accolades. First off, they played wonderful. They played really fantastic. And really, guys, you can build a guitar and make it play nice. It just takes a lot of patience. I'm not bragging about, hey, I've got some super skills. It just really takes a lot of time and being willing to tear it down and redo it and do it again and intonate and intonate and intonate, and you can make a guitar play just superb. All right, enough about that. So he looked at it and he showed me the things that I did right. Like I had tapered this horn on here because, as you can see, the original block of wood starts off much thicker. So that's tapered off. And he had just said that there's, well, like Schecter builds a cloud guitar, and that horn is thicker yet. And Prince had hired them to build these guitars for his tours, and it was lesser expensive. The electronics were lesser expensive. The horn up here was shorter so that you could tell the difference right away. So there's some things that were different about the Schecters. And so anyway, he showed me the things that I had gotten right. And then with a very gentle spirit, he said, would you like me to show you the things that you can improve on? Said it in such a nice way, and I was like, absolutely. I mean, who would want to turn that down, right? So he showed me, especially like in this curl, the first ones that I had built, I just basically went straight down. I made this curl in here, but when I carved it, I just carved a groove around is essentially what I did. And he showed me how it was carved at an angle in there. And then this part is more straight down, but this is more angled in, and then how that takes shape and how that looks. One of the things I got right is that I put a little crease in the back here, like he did. So I've gotten that right. This is different now. A lot of them that I've sold, I put it here where he put the original button, but I put it on the horn because this is my guitar. And I like it better here. It fits me better. I know other guys that just don't like it there. They want to have it there. That's okay. That's their guitar. They can have it there. I like it here. I've lost a little bit of weight now, but one of the problems I was having is my belly would push it forward. So it was rolling forward, and I didn't like that. So got the brass nut on there. And yeah, a couple things that are different at the moment on this one. I had on hand some chrome with gold button Schaller. These are M6 minis, which are what were on the original. I will probably change those out with gold, all gold at some point. But you know what, I kind of like it too. But if I want it to be more like the original, then I would do that. My originals that I did had dots, just round dots. These are actually spades. It's really hard to see that. Like if you take the movie frames and stop it, it's hard to see that that's not just a dot. And I didn't know that it was a spade. So the first ones I did had just round dots there. I built a guitar that was similar to this, but it was my own design. That guitar is just as different from this as what this is from that Sardonyx bass. And so it's a semi-hollow with, I'd call it an F-hole, but it's not an F-hole. I'll put a picture up so you can take a look at it and see it. I have spoken with Dave Roussan, asked him if it would be okay for me to pursue making that guitar, and he said that I have his blessing. As far as I know, I'm the only one that's ever made a guitar like this. I think it's, at this point, the one that's in existence that one of Prince's friends owns. I think that's the only one in existence that's out there. A thin line style cloud type guitar. And I've had that out there, and there's videos of it from the past. So, I mean, I got plenty of proof that I came up with that design. I want to build one of those, and we'll give it away. And this is the pieces of wood that it's going to come from. And I've got the two halves here. They will be hollowed out and put together. And because it's curly maple, this is not going to be a painted body. It will be a stained body. We're going to have a lot of fun on this next project. But before we get to this, there's a couple things I want to do. I want to show you, I want to go back in time and let you just see me working on this guitar a little bit to see how it's put together and what we do with that. And also, we're working on that Union Jack guitar that we're going to give away first. Just about to run into CW Hardware, see what Cameron might have for me for some guitar bodies. I know that I need to get some curly maple to fill into those Union Jack flag guitar bodies that I'm doing, and sounded like he might have something else that he set aside for me to take a look at.
So what we've got Wenge in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Purple Heart. The color of the Purple Heart has been really vibrant.
I did 2 guitars with the Purple Heart now.
Yep.
And they turned out really good. Man, is that a pain to work with.
It is so hard.
Oh my goodness.
It really wants to tear out on you. And
If you keep watching the vlogs,
yep.
the last one that I do with this guitar that I'm working on right now,
Yeah.
I'm on my last 2 screws and I broke a screw off in the.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm like, it's done.
Yeah.
And I broke a screw off. I was like, are you kidding
I
me?
need to get that out. Purple Heart is going to be harder to get in. My source says
Is it?
he's not going to be able to get any more in. So that's, keep that in mind. Do that, guys. You're going to get some modeling on that. It's a
Okay.
rough cut, but the figure on that has been really cool. And the figure on that guy is
That one, there's a lot of
Really-
figure on that thing for sure.
really neat. There's going to be more of this going on to here.
Okay.
So that's a
This
good
is what,
option.
Babinga?
Babinga, African
Okay.
rosewood.
Okay. Okay, so what I've got here in the car is some really incredible leopard wood. That was irresistible. I'm gonna book match this. It's gonna be phenomenal. The figuring on this is unbelievable. I've done another guitar in the leopard wood with a red stain, and oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. And then the curly, look at how curly that maple is. Woo! That's gonna be nice. We got some good stuff coming up. After I got back from CW Hardwoods, I started piecing together these Union Jack guitars, and I want to know what you think. How's that look? Looks pretty rough, doesn't it, actually? What I want you to see, though, is this is how bad it looks as I piece it together, and then this one is getting much closer to being finished. So it looks pretty dang good, I think. I like it. I think it's going to be really nice once we get that done. But yeah, you know, put those side by side. You'd never think that this would end up looking like this, but it does. What I want to do is go down into my dungeon, and basically, yeah, we've got just an old basement here. Go down in the dungeon and just cut out a few pieces of wood so you can see how it is that I'm getting these angles here, because even if you know that you've got a 45-degree angle, when you've got a saw and you're doing these fine details, you're going to find that it can be difficult to get a really tight seam between these pieces when you've got a thick piece of wood like this, because these are almost an inch thick pieces of wood. If you were doing a thin veneer and you cut those nice and straight, that'd be a whole lot easier. But when you're using a thicker piece of wood, you've got to consider the angle. I mean, if your saw blade is at the slightest bit of an angle as you're cutting, there's going to be a gap at the top or a gap at the bottom. And so how do I get these together so that they're nice and tight and so pretty like that? Well, here. Maybe that looks a little bit better. how do I get them so that they're nice and tight like that? So let's go down in the basement and we'll just cut a couple of pieces, and I'm going to show you the tools that I use for cutting these angles and getting this in tight. And so we're going to get closer to getting this one put together. This one's not shaped yet. You'll notice this is a little bit of a different shape. I've kind of reshaped it how I wanted it to be. Now the reason why I am not using just a thin veneer, because that would be a question that a lot of people would wonder, well, why don't you just use a thinner veneer on the top? And the reason is I am going to arch this top to a degree, and I want to be able to have the sides come down around and still have that Union Jack flag as it comes down as rounded. So I didn't want to sand that off with a thin veneer. So at CW Hardwoods, I got this really nice piece of bird's eye maple that I'm using in these little angled areas. What I want to show you is how I figure these angles and check it with my saw. By the way, welcome to my dungeon. It is just a disaster down here right now. It's a mess because I've been working down here. There's sawdust all over. My wife really doesn't like that so much, so I need to make sure that I do a decent job cleaning up as well. But guys, two very inexpensive tools that you can buy at most hardware stores, and you know, like $8, and this one was maybe $6. I don't know, something like that. They're cheap. They were both under $10, I'll tell you that. But like I said, in order to get the right angle on here, if I take this little guy here and I just move it in until it is tight, and then I screw this down, that gives me my angle. Oh, I got it off a little bit there, so let me redo it. There we go. Tighten that down. And then the thing that I want to be aware of, and the reason why I had to go get wood from CW Hardwoods, one, I wanted, because I had other curly maple around and all, but I wanted to make sure that my my grain of the wood was all going down from the same piece of wood, the same direction. So essentially what I am doing is this piece is going to be cut from here, that piece will be cut from in here, that piece from in here, this piece from in here, so that it's got this continuity from piece to piece to piece. I didn't want to just haphazardly put pieces of wood in there. I wanted it to be nice. And I do like bird's eye maple. So that's going to be fun to get this bird's eye maple cut and put into there. Okay, so you notice that I have flipped this. So if this flat side is going to be this side here, that's flipped, and I want this angle, so I want it cut like this, and that means I need to turn it like that in order to get the right cut for this angle here. I already know that I'm going to be taking this up to the belt sander to do a little bit of tweaking here or there, because it will not be exactly perfect. So let's go ahead and get this cut. Let's go ahead and get this plugged in. So my flat side there, I can see that I am lined up pretty good there. I got my grain going the correct direction, but things that I need to check out now is making sure that this angle is the same angle as what this is going up or down. And I can see that I'm going to have to take off just a little bit of shave this way, so I'm just going to lightly sand it so it's that little bit of an angle there to bring that up and in. That's how I do it. I guess if you want, I can take you upstairs and you can see how I do the sanding too. It's just, boy, it's running back and forth. It's putsy. It takes me a while to do this. This is not a just quick throw it together thing. So I want to make sure that these seams are tight in between here. And right now, they're not. They're the right angle, I can see that. But yeah, I need to cut that down. I give it just a little bit. Then I've got to run downstairs, check it, refit it, do it again, check it, refit it, do it again until I get it right. That's how I'm doing these angles. So now I'm going to check it. I'm probably going to say, oh shoot, I got to go do more, or I got to do less, or I overdid it. Okay. Looks like just a little bit more, and I need to take just a little bit of this corner off to get that up in there good and tight. So maybe that's what I need to do first. Okay, third attempt. Third attempt is getting better. Looks like I need to bring this back just a little bit. Fourth attempt. All right, now, yep, now we're good. Now I'm going to glue here. I'll glue this edge, I'll glue this edge, and I'm just going to mark, let's see here, how far I need my glue approximately. So I'll get my glue in there. I'm going to get it all clamped up. And when I pull this in with the bar clamp, this is all going to tighten up really pretty good. So we'll go to that. Actually, I might take, fifth attempt. I'm going to go try this just a little bit better yet. So here's the fifth attempt. See that? Yep, now I'm going to be good and tight. Once I get pretty dang close there, I can see, and I know when I bar clamp it, that will pull it in. So it'll be okay.